Hey, hello and welcome. In life, we all have challenges along the way. It could be that you've just been through a tough time. You might be in a tough time right now, or you know that you've got a tough time ahead of you and you need to plan ahead to make sure it goes as easy as possible. However, with all that said, sometimes in life, when we're going through these tough times, we can have people show up on our path that appear, in all sense and purpose, that they're actually trying to help us out. And they may believe in every way that they are doing their very best to help us out. However, what we're going to cover in this video is an emotionally manipulative behaviour that could be hiding in plain sight, that even though that other individual genuinely believes that they're helping you out, it can actually make the tough time that you're going through so much harder. Because not only do you have to deal with the challenging situation that you're in, but you also have to navigate a hidden emotionally manipulative behavior in the person that's showing up saying that they can help you out. So as an overview of this situation, it would be that stage number 1, you're going through a difficult time. Stage number 2, a person shows up to want to help you out, or you might turn to them and ask them for their help because they seem to be the person that you would need by your side. However, it starts to feel confusing because the situation that you are going through seems to be suddenly getting harder when the other person is there by your side trying to help you out, which causes major confusion for your conscious mind. Because why would things be getting harder when this other person is trying to help you out? Now, a lot of people going through that situation can sometimes feel confused or dismiss it and saying just reality, things are getting harder, there's something wrong with them, they don't know what's happening, and just keep pushing through. But it can be like Chinese thumb locks with this setup, because sometimes the harder you fight, the more complicated it becomes. Now, in my own training, I'm a trauma therapist and help people with emotional recovery, but also focus a lot on emotionally manipulative behaviour that other people can use either knowingly or unknowingly and project it onto us. And there are 6 main emotionally manipulative behaviours that I cover. I'll put a link in the description below to a video of all of the 6 that I cover. But in this video, we're going to talk about the second one, which is known as the saviour role. Now, you may have seen this if you've seen The Drama Triangle by Dr. Stephen Cartman, which is the rescuer. The rescuer and the saviour are exactly the same thing. So keep in mind, you're going through this difficult time. Now, in the video, if you watch it in the link below, you'll know that the saviour relies on helplessness in their target. Now, there is so much to explain around emotionally manipulative behaviour and why it happens. So, again, watch the video in the link below. But I'm going to go over 2 main expressions of the saviour emotionally manipulative behaviour, and more importantly, why it can be a major risk to you if you're going through a tough time and somebody shows up either knowingly or unknowingly using the saviour emotionally manipulative behaviour. Now, the 2 main expressions of the saviour are the reluctant saviour and the significant saviour. Now, firstly, we look at the reluctant saviour. Now, all emotionally manipulative behaviour comes from a person with unresolved trauma. So firstly, we've got the reluctant saviour. Now, the reluctant saviour is where a person will reluctantly want to help everybody else out, and this is driven by toxic guilt. One setup may be that it could be when that person was a child, they had a parent that was struggling. It doesn't have to be a parent, it can be anybody really. But somebody in their life was struggling, and the pressure was put onto that individual to say that you should help everybody else out, and if you don't help everybody else out, you're a bad person. So that's the reluctant saviour. They were pressured into helping everybody else out, even at their own cost. But again, the saviour role will keep on doing everything for everybody else. And if when they were younger, they were trying to help somebody out that wasn't capable of being helped, i.e. a parent who was struggling, no child can ever really fix a parent that's struggling. They will keep on trying and trying and trying, but they don't necessarily want to keep putting all that effort in. So it could be when you're going through a tough time, somebody may show up and You can feel that energy about them. They keep showing up for you and keep showing up. But you might start to notice this guilt feeling because very, very subconsciously, they might be saying to you or to anybody else out there that they don't really want to keep putting all this time in, but they still keep forcing themselves to do that. However, the second type of expression with the saviour role is the significance saviour, which can be particularly challenging in many, many ways. If, say, for example, when a person was younger, they didn't feel they had any worth in the family or worth at school, but then if they go and help everybody else out, then all of a sudden everybody really likes them. Everybody says that they're such a wonderful person. Everybody puts them on that pedestal. And if they were not getting any connection with other people in any way, shape or form by just being themselves, but all of a sudden they started getting a lot of connection by, in essence, rescuing everybody else or being the saviour, then that can form a belief of that person saying, I am now important because I do everything for everybody else. Now, if a person shows up in your life while you're trying to fix a challenging time that you're going through, and somebody shows up as a significant saviour, in essence, what they're going to do without realising it is do everything for you, in essence, fix the challenging time. But it's not going to strengthen you. You see, in life, when we get tough times, it's important that we draw on our own resilience. Sometimes we just don't have the strength and capacity, so we do need other people to step in. But really, it is for us to stand on our feet the best we can. And if a person is coming into our life to help out, they should step in temporarily until we've got our own strength to stand on our own feet by ourselves and resolve our own tricky situation. But with a saviour role, whether it be the significant saviour or the reluctant saviour, both of those expressions of emotional and manipulative behaviour might step into your situation, take over everything, thereby disempowering you. And if you're going through a difficult situation and you find yourself getting disempowered because another person takes over, then it's going to exacerbate that challenging situation that you're in. Initially, it might feel like this is really great. Somebody else is doing it for me. But while somebody else is doing it for you, you are actually getting emotionally weaker. One way of looking at it would be if, for example, you hurt your leg and then somebody picks you up and carries you. Well, that's great while you're healing. But with the reluctant saviour or the significant saviour, they carry you around long after your leg is healed. So if they keep carrying you around all the time, your legs are going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. But then if your legs have become weaker and weaker, and then you say, come on, I can do this by myself now, and they say, yeah, okay, they put you back on your feet, you'll find that your legs have become so weak, you think, I can't stand up by myself. And they go, it's okay, I'll take over again. So the one thing I always suggest to people, if they find that there may be somebody in their life using a saviour emotional and manipulative behaviour, is to start writing things down. Ask yourself, how do you feel when you're around that person? Do you feel like you need them and you cannot cope without them? Because something might have been going on in the background for maybe weeks, months, or even years that you haven't recognised and has been disempowering you all the time. And also is maybe not just rely on one person to support you, because that is a classic case of codependence with a saviour role. Now, the one thing is that most people using the saviour emotional manipulative behaviour do not even realise that they are doing it. It is seen as a kindness, but unfortunately, it can be very, very disempowering. And the more somebody helps out, the more it can feel like we want to turn to that person for that support. So again, as a summary, if you're going through a tough time, or you've been through a tough time, or you think you've got something coming up that's going to be a tough time, and somebody shows up, it might feel like that person's there by your side. But start to watch out for how you feel when you're around them. Do you feel that you cannot cope without them in your life? Do you feel like they are the only one that can help you out? Because that won't be true. There are lots of people in this world. We just might need to look around and find other people. But if you find yourself becoming codependent with one person, it could be that they are unknowingly, or maybe even knowingly, using an emotionally manipulative behaviour. They could be a reluctant saviour, being driven from guilt from the past, or it could be a significant saviour, where they get that feel-good factor by helping everybody else out, even if it means disempowering them. Write it out, reflect on it, and also ask other people if they may recognise if you're trapped in that loop. And remember, if you're going through a tough time and you've got a reluctant saviour or a significant saviour in your life, it could exasperate that challenge that you're going through to triple or quadruple or last for a lot longer than it needs to be. So I hope this video has helped you recognise one of the most powerful and elusive emotionally manipulative behaviours. Keep in mind, people are not evil with this. They are maybe just trying to resolve a past trauma that they are unaware of. But if you get caught in the crossfire, it can be very unhealthy for you. So if you've got any questions at all, feel free to put them in the comments below, or any feedback, because the more people put in the comments, the more it can help everybody on this channel get a more broad perspective, and especially to feel like they're not alone. Because when you get trapped in a codependence with a significant or reluctant saviour, it can sometimes feel like there's only them that you can turn to, but that is not true. So feel free to put anything in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.